Hello, brilliant beauties. How are all my female entrepreneurs today? I hope that this message finds you smiling and delighting in the joy of your life. In this moment, you are likely living something that you once dreamed about. And I'm wondering if you can shift your energy away from the hurry and hustle of these lovely long lists that we like to make. Or if you're like me, I decided I wanted to get a really beautiful folder for my lists for my business and keep like an accurate record of all the things that I'm achieving. I used to do this as a teacher too. I made my plan book like as if it had to be some spectacular record that an anthropologist might come through and read. For those of you joining me on my personal group, I'm leading a training for female entrepreneurs and wanted to just invite you in behind the scenes. So, welcome. And for those of you joining me live on my laptop or watching this recording later, welcome to you also. I know that being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. And it places us in this tug of war between our employee mindset and our entrepreneur mindset. And that's called cognitive dissonance. We're holding two separate sets of values. One that tells us that our worth is defined by our paycheck, by the material items and possessions that we've acquired. For me, that was my $1.5 million home on 5 acres with Rocky Mountain views out of every bathroom, out of every room, including my bathroom and toilet. And also having the Porsche in the garage, buying my daughter a horse. I got really wrapped up in winning at the game of life as a single mom and as a breadwinner. And then things came crashing down. I was laid off 5 months after making that dream a reality. And then 2 days after that, diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And I'm here to tell you that was the best season of my life. I should say second best. Like if I was to look at all the chapters of my life, that was the second best chapter. And I think it's leading me to a very beautiful new chapter that I'm in the midst of right now. And I am over the moon excited. So it's those custom agitations that serve as our greatest invitation to do something different. I decided to call my adventure the Extraordinary Life Edit because I wanted an extraordinary life. And I knew that God was editing some things out of my life. And I also needed to edit some things out of my life. And so some of those things were behaviors, some of those things were people, some of them were places, some of them were thoughts. And today, as we welcome the summer solstice, it's a time for us to celebrate this return of light and to look inward and find that light that's within you. The portal that opens at the summertime right now is filled with divine energies. And so we can literally practice lifting our hearts and being open to those divine energies to flow freely inside of you and in your life. And so with that, let's step into courage. Let's step into grace. Let's welcome that new beginning. Let's think about this concept of an extraordinary life edit. What are some of the things that you might let go of in order to create space for something new? I often, when I'm working with my high performance coaching clients, we imagine, and invite you to do this too with me, close your eyes and just imagine that you're walking into a closet that is cluttered. It is so cluttered. There's clothing in piles on the floor. There's shopping bags with new clothes lined along the wall on the opposite side. The hangers are strewn. It looks as if when you go to place something on the hanging rod that you have to like pull all of the items to the side just to squeeze that one item in. The clothes are so full. There's just a mass of clothing everywhere. And you might be picturing drawers, bins, just clothing everywhere. And often that's kind of what has happened to our lives, right? By the time we reach midlife, I'm so excited about this, I can barely speak. By the time we reach this space in our lives, we've got so much clutter, so much clamoring for our attention and draining our energies that we forget that we actually have some control over what that closet looks like. So I want to invite you to clear that closet, right? As we Say farewell to spring, spring cleaning, and welcome in summer. That is the reason why. It's because we're cleaning up and preparing for this return of light of the summer as we approach the longest day of the year and the official beginning of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. The summer solstice is a time when the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. And it's a symbol of peak energy, of illumination, and of triumph of light over darkness. So I want you to think about the light and the darkness within you. What's in your closet? What are some of the things? And I'm not telling you to go and take everything out and do a full deep clean and remodel. I'm telling you it can be easier than that. We're going to just take out the things that no longer serve you. They're the outfits that didn't look good to begin with and they didn't belong there. They're the clothes that just create clutter. I want you just lining that closet with the clothes you love. And in this case, with the Extraordinary Life Edit, I want you focusing on the music you love. Vibrations have energy, and I notice how shifting the music that I'm listening to has had a profound shift on my mindset, on my thoughts. I've been doing a lot of neurological rewiring in the aftermath of cancer, trying to make sure that that fear of cancer's return, a lot of people have cancer return. I'm not a fool. And I also know that that's because 90 to 95% of cancer is diet and lifestyle related. And so we treat the cancer, we return to the diet and lifestyle that caused it, and guess what? It comes back because we created the fertile conditions for it to be here in the first place. So we've got to change those things. And so I have a whole biobehavioral scorecard I made for myself. I started tracking like a scientist, experimenting with the things that bring me the greatest joy. One of them right now is sound bathing. I absolutely love it. If you love energy, I'm thinking of Nikola Tesla's quote, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, which if you want your business to perform at ultra high levels, if you want to role model the way for your children and the next generation, if you want your life to be one of those lives that made a difference in so many other people's lives because you were in it. I once heard someone say like that they were describing the aftermath of a plane wreck and they were one of the very few survivors and they could see the auras of individuals leaving their bodies. And I remember hearing that story and thinking, I want my aura to be bright. So if you want your aura to be bright, we can't have that clutter in our closet. We have to choose the light over the darkness. And that's even within us. And it's taking a hard look at the behaviors that we exhibit and the results they're leading us to. See, as a behavioral interventionist, whenever I was in education, I would often look at what are the behaviors we aspire to have this child exhibit? What are the habits of mind of the most successful people in the world? And how do we cultivate those in individuals? Our environment shapes our behavior. So let's add behavior, let's make our environment one that nourishes us. So for me, I have beautiful things surrounding me. I have a gorgeous flower bouquet on my desk that is a replica of what Brendan Burchard's team sent me during my cancer journey. I loved their bouquet so much that I literally had a creative redesign it for me so that I could keep it forever and ever and ever. I have wonderful goat milk soaps and lotions in my bathroom. I have essential oils on my nightstand and a beautiful rose quartz crystal to bring love into my space. Even my desk, I have little reminders for myself. Cards that help me focus my attention and my energy so that I can get grounded before I do this important and intentional work with my clients. And here I thought everybody else was kind of doing these things too, till I walked out into the world and realized, oh, not everybody does this. It's something special that I possess that I love bringing to others, right? And I want to position people to win not only in business, but in their lives. And that's what high performance is all about. The world's highest performers are happier, healthier, and less stressed than their peers. Isn't that wonderful? It's wonderful to know that it doesn't require a ton of sacrifice and stress and struggle. That was my experience as I was scaling the peaks. When I was founding downtown Denver's first elementary school, I literally worked myself into the hospital. And then later, leading an innovation grant across the state of Colorado, I was pretty frazzled, if I'm being honest. I was managing the minutes and flying by the seat of my pants through most days. I even would eat Chipotle because I loved it. It was tasty. And I wasn't aware that it was 3 days of calories in one burrito. And I was living in the aftermath of this food coma and in this cycle with myself where the things I was doing that I was trying to escape from were actually creating more challenge for myself. And so I love looking with my clients at what are the behaviors you're exhibiting. Let's do an audit of all of your behaviors and your environment so that we can condition greatness. And I think that's what, as we transition from summer or from spring to summer, isn't that what spring cleaning's all about? Spring cleanup. Think of that closet that we visualized. Now close your eyes and let's visualize again. Imagine a beautiful tower of shelves with gorgeous little baskets and boxes, and everything in its place. Like mine, I work out a lot, so I have a basket of sports bras. I have a basket of for my panties and bras. I have a basket for my workout tanks and another basket for my workout yoga pants. And then I have my clothes hanging from lightest to darkest in dress shirts, in sweatshirts and casual warm clothes, and then in casual shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. Then I have the pants section that is also lightest to darkest for casual wear, and I don't have any fancy wear anymore because I just downsized my closet by 2/3, moving across the country. So my closet is very nice and neat. I did the same thing to my kitchen too, and I can't tell you how much having space creates new opportunities. And I want you thinking about all the dimensions of your life, your family and relationships during this time where we're leaning into the light. We're leaning into this period where the portal that's opening is bringing the heavens to us. So we're going to see signs of abundance, of growth, of reflection, and we get to tap into the natural energies that amplify our intentions and support personal and professional growth. But guess what? See this? Anyone remember what this is? You remember the bell curve? What's common practice is to not set intentions, to wake up and hurry and hustle through the day. And I want you choosing, pick your top percent. Let's put that over here. I'm aiming for the top 2% right now. And I aim for that with intention because my coach and mentor years ago, I was approaching a situation that was really difficult. It was a lawsuit with my daughter's father. And my coach asked me, why are you approaching this as if you're the person you used to be? You're not that broke educator anymore. Now you are. And I want you to think about who you are now. Because often we're carrying narratives into new seasons of our lives that don't belong there. And when she told me, now you're in the top 10% of earners, I thought, I am? Holy cow, that's amazing. So here I was here, but I was behaving like I was here. So let's allow for the evolution of our behaviors to evolve. The top 10% of earners earn over $160,000 a year. And so once she told me that, my goal setting self said, well, what other percentages are there? Let's aim for something ambitious. The world's highest performers use a strategy called raise performance necessity. When we have a situation that necessitates our best, we rise to that occasion. And so we have to build that into our businesses. So I want to do that, though, not just with the masculine energies of aggressive goal setting, discipline, determination, but I also want to welcome that feminine intuition and flow and collaboration and communication. Life is a classroom where we come to learn, not a courtroom where we come to be judged. I want to repeat that because I know some of you might need to hear that right now. I know when I first heard this, it brought me so much relief because if I was really unpacking my behavior, it was almost as if I was always walking around to be judged, to be determined worthy, to be determined smart enough, sexy enough, pretty enough, all the enoughs. Yet that's already in us. God has built us that way. So all we really have to do is, instead of looking outward and scaling all these peaks to plummet to the valley below, we can just hop on our sailboat and set sail into the summer sun and know that that is God's love and light inside of us. So I want to bring up the energetic significance of summer solstice and this abundance, growth, and reflection that's present during this time, and invite you to tap into those natural energies that amplify your intention. And then let's talk about the frequency of words. I want you all Googling Dr. Emoto water crystal research. Look at what you see. You'll see crystals that express themselves differently based on the words spoken to them. These are water crystals. They're all 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. That's the science. The art and the magic is that when spoken to, they express themselves differently. And get this, your body's 70% water. So I want you paying attention to every single time you're beating yourself down. I'm getting that right leg tingle. This is what God has us here. I'm off script. God's been doing this to me. I'm a planner and I like that masculine energy of assertiveness towards my goals. And as I welcome divine feminine, and I'd love to hear from you. Is this the part that resonates? So as we welcome that divine feminine and flow, we can invite another operating system into our lives. So I want you to invite yourself to think about who you are. I'm going to read a little bit from this week. Some of my coaching clients are in a series called The Charged Life. And in those sessions, we focus on the 10 human drives. And this particular week was on connection. And we talked about connecting deeply to the best version of yourself. And here's why. I'm going to read this to you. I want you to imagine that you're holding a cup, okay? Whatever is in your cup is going to be spilling out during the moments of challenge. And this is because we have decision fatigue. We experience decision fatigue. We start the day great. Those of you who have ever tried to lose weight, you know this story well. You have a great morning, pretty decent lunch. By 3 p.m., all bets are off and you'll eat anything come 5, right? Has that ever happened? It's simply decision fatigue. We make so many decisions throughout the course of our day that we're exhausted and fatigued. So we've got to reverse engineer and backwards map. I now know that success begins at 2 p.m. So I want you thinking about this. Imagine this cup. And as I read this, I want you to think about what's inside of your cup right now as you think about the light inside of you in summer solstice. You are holding a cup of coffee when someone comes along and bumps you and shakes your arm. Makes you spill your coffee everywhere. Why did you spill the coffee? Because someone bumped into me. Wrong answer, my friends. You spilled the coffee because there was coffee in your cup. Had there been tea in your cup, you would have spilled tea. Whatever is inside the cup is what will spill out. Therefore, when life comes along and shakes you, which will happen, whatever is inside of you will come out. It's easy to fake. It's easy to fake success. It's easy to fake a lot of these positive attributes until you get rattled. And that's where we know who's really done the work. So we have to pause and ask ourselves, what's in my cup? When life gets tough, what spills over? Joy, gratitude, peace, and humility? Or is it anger, bitterness, frustration, victim mentality, and quitting tendencies? Life provides you the cup. You choose how to fill it. So as we welcome summer solstice, I want you to think about filling your cup with gratitude, forgiveness, joy, words of affirmation, resilience, positivity and kindness, gentleness and love for yourself and others. I used to train on the 5 waves of trust, and trust is the #1 business imperative. And regardless, with leaders across the globe in 13 countries, we used to talk about self-trust. Self-trust is your character and your competence. And in high performance research, we make this little infinity sign and we say character on one side, competence on the other. Or no, sorry, it's competence and confidence. So I think of, let me restart. As an educator, I know how badly a misstep like that distracts learning, and I'm frustrated with myself. But I'm going to fill my cup with grace and with love and with permission to be human. So let's start that again. You make your infinity symbol, and underneath that, I want you to write the words character in your journal. Everything's founded on your character. And then on top of that is your competence and confidence. Often I meet women who want more confidence and they don't know how to do it. They think it's this fake it till you make it sport, which research does show evidence trending in that direction. It is something that you can act as if you have. I never want you faking anything because your subconscious knows your mind is keeping score. And when you're being fake, that authenticity vibration diminishes and people turn away from you. And for you to have ultra high business levels of success, I don't want you selling clients, I want you attracting clients. And so this vibrational piece is really important for you to pay attention to. As we talk about weekly, imagine your vibrational scale here on your arm. Low vibration, high vibration. This is the news. This is often your social media feed if you haven't conditioned it properly. I just joined Instagram and I gotta say, it only knows what I'm looking at right now and it's all such high vibrational things. For me, that's an amazing source of inspiration that I love. But often in the past, when I've gone to social, my vibration's lower and it's why I don't scroll. So there's certain foods that lower my vibration. When I eat the foods that I think I want, that are tasty, they lower my vibration. I feel like I'm in a food coma. When I skip the gym, I'm in a food coma. It's like these things that raise my vibration are working out, gaining strength and growing muscles, building my mindset, bathing in sound and relaxing my body, utilizing essential oils on my temples and igniting the sensory impact that has on my health and well-being. And so I want you thinking of that vibrational space and then character on top of your competence and confidence. We have to be building competence. A lot of people, it's so funny because I talk to people as if they're still learning in life. And occasionally I meet people who aren't my people, who they haven't been learning since like college graduation. And I'm like, wait, you just stopped? Like you haven't picked up a book or any research? You know what I'm talking about. The common, we're over here, my friends. So leaders are learners. I want you always learning. Condition yourself to come to these sessions, to show up regularly, to fill and nourish your mind and allow it to just overflow. Share that knowledge with others, because when we're knowledge sharing and we're helping and we're being that light, that is that light of God, that light of the summer energy, where we can be the rising tide that raises all ships. And when you're that, can I tell you, I've analyzed every one of my sales calls that converted, and I thought I was going to find the masculine energy in me, wanted to find some magical formula that, like the just right words, which were the words that were the ones that really worked. You know what? Some of them were the most ridiculous calls I've ever made, to be honest. It sounded something like this. I was laying in a sound bath and you came to mind and I started praying for you. And I just wanted you to know I'm sending golden rays of light and sunshine upon you to pray for your peace, your prosperity, your daughter, your husband, your grandparents that you're caring for. And I would just like personalize it and then say, hey, I have this opportunity coming up. We're going to be launching on this particular date. Would you be interested in joining? I really think you'd love this community of women. And it was like 100% of those kinds of calls were my yeses. And you can imagine my surprise when I thought that I was going to find, you know what I'm talking about, that perfect little picture perfect line of copy, like Nike's Just Do It. Like I kept looking for my Just Do It kind of lines that would really be a catch. And it turns out the catch is speaking from your heart, speaking from the light within. Yet, just like we talked about, when that closet is so cluttered, it's real difficult to find that light. So we've got to clean out the closet and take away the things that no longer serve us, so that when that cup gets banged up against the world, we spill over that joy, peace, and humility and gratitude. So let's talk a little bit about some things that you can do during this season, especially as we enter the full moon, right? We're embracing that full moon and welcoming something brand new. And there's a lot of energetic power in that space. So this is the best space from which to create that. So step one is just to start practicing awareness of what are those limiting beliefs that are holding you back. When are you overthinking and overanalyzing things? There's 4 symptoms of fear: analysis paralysis, overthinking, comparisonitis, and FOMO, which for high achievers is fear of missed opportunity. We don't fear missing out. We don't care about missing out on this. We fear missing the opportunities that are here. And so I want you thinking about those limiting beliefs and practicing the awareness of, am I standing in fear right now? Because you remember from a few weeks ago, we talked about this. I wasn't planning on this today, but you can see in my journal here, this was from my pastor's notes. If you're standing in the middle of this line and one direction says faith, one direction says fear, you can't go both ways. You can't walk both directions. You've got to make a choice. So let's let this be the time when you say, you know what? I have carried fear. And that fear came for good reason. It's there to protect me and keep me safe. I'm not upset about it. It's part of how we're wired, actually, with a negativity bias. So I know enough about humanity to know we're all wired for negativity, so I can extend grace to myself and to others when they're being negative. Because I know that fear is just trying to keep us safe. I know they're well intentioned. And I can choose faith and walk in the direction of my wildest dreams. And what's amazing about that, my friends, is that vision of your life that gets you out of bed in the morning raises your vibration, and that's where miracles start happening. I've lived it ever since the day I stepped foot in this beautiful town, the horse capital of the world. We arrived here January 21st, and one door opened after another. My realtor even was like, is this what it's like to be you? This is amazing. Your life is incredible. And I said, this has never happened to me before. I don't know what's happening. And it just continues. Literally 2 weeks ago today, I met the most extraordinary human, and I'm just enjoying being showered with so much love and blessing in my life. My daughter's absolutely incredible. We have people nourishing our lives in her horse dreams. It's just been, I mean, literally you can't even make this up every time I turn around. And I started to think, what is it? Like, what is it that's different? And you want to know what it is? It's that I stopped focusing on what, and I started focusing on who. I'm not looking at what I want to achieve and what I need to do today and what research will be the best for me to read right now so that I'm smart enough to be reaching that next level. It's all happening because of who I am. And what's interesting is I heard Dan Sullivan and Ed Hardy have a new book called something with 10X. Oh my gosh, why 10X is easier than 2X or something like that. And they were being interviewed on a podcast with Ed Milet. And he said, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Most of us have all heard that. The second half was really powerful, and it's happening because of you. That's that big piece of who you are. And the summer solstice is an opportunity when the gates of heaven are opening and that full moon is in the sky. I want you welcoming God and the divine angels to fill you and lift you with who you are. And then I want you to be journaling about this. And you can even journal your limiting beliefs and then go burn them. Like, there needs to be something symbolic. Bury them in the yard if you think you might want to dig them up again someday. Do whatever you need to do with them. For me, I one time did this activity where I wrote down all this bad stuff, and I tore up that paper. And on my jog down the 16th Street Mall in downtown Denver, I placed little bits of that paper in every trash can and just let it go. You need to have a physical representation of that letting go. Just like the cluttered closet, you're physically removing things. Our bodies carry energy from our experiences. And so we have to find a way to release those things. I also encourage you to do something that's very nourishing for yourself. It might be visualizing while listening to certain HZ frequencies, like 432 is a really great frequency. 963 is another great frequency. So all of those things can ignite energetically in you so that you're not having to use that assertive and aggressive masculine energy quite so much. It's a beautiful thing. So as we wrap up today, I want to invite you to fill your cup with your identity words from Scripture. I am beautiful, Ecclesiastes 3:11. I am victorious, Romans 8:37. I am enough, 2 Corinthians 12:9. I am brilliantly created, Genesis 1:31. I might have added brilliantly in there because of my business is called Building Brilliance. That's what we're doing. We're building brilliance in ourselves so that our cups can spill over into our families, into our communities, into our workplaces, and into our world. We are the rising tide raising all ships. And I know that you were fearfully and wonderfully made according to Scripture. and brilliantly created, according to Dr. J. I am strong, Philippians 4:13. I am amazing, Psalms 139:14. I am capable, Mark 10:27. I am chosen, 1 Thessalonians 1:4. Are you accepting that invitation? I know a lot of people who have their door closed and God's knocking, knocking, knocking and saying, hey, quit riding the struggle bus. There's a better way. I know he knocked on my door for a very long time. And all you have to do is just say, I welcome you here. I want to be in relationship with you. I feel called to pray, so we'll wrap this up in prayer after I get to the last one. This one's important. I am never alone, Matthew 28:20. God's always with you. And often, God's there working through people. We met the most amazing gentleman when we first moved here, and he's been, Gigi calls him my bestie. I don't think I'd be making it if it weren't for that person. He drugged me out to the gym, introduced me to so many people. The gym has this amazing, vibrant energy in it, very high vibrational energy. So I feel love and I feel light when I'm there, and I'm strengthening my body, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing people like me who care about nutrient density, who are nourishing their bodies and minds and spirits intentionally. And it makes me stronger. Your environment is important. That's why I've created the Women's Business Launcher, because you have to be in community with others who have similar beliefs that anything is possible for you, because the world will encourage you to play small. The world will pull you to the mediocre middle. It's designed that way. There's addictive substances in all of our foods that pull us here, addictive substances in our environments, psychological conditioning and physiological conditioning that draws us in to regress towards the norm. And so we have to, with great intention, architect our environments and engineer the ecosystems in our lives with great and grand intention. So with that, my friends, it's time for us to wrap up, and I have my coaching clients starting here soon. I'm very excited. If you feel that you would love a coach to walk alongside you, using a research-based framework to gain clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence in not only your business, but in your life, I really want to work with you. I just love the women that I work with so very much, so deeply. I love praying for them. So if you have a business prayer, I'd love to pray for you. I'm looking at a few messages I screenshotted from this week and wanted to share. I had a client that said, oh my gosh, I had to go to a funeral yesterday because a family member passed away. It was so beautiful to see my larger family and to embrace the ceremony. But the coolest story is that I reconnected with my second cousin, who I took care of until I was 5 years old. And he's living on the island of the full moon party in Thailand. And that's where she wants to go. And they had a big conversation about it. And I was like, wow, she had been dancing through the divine. Business was heavy, the funeral, her husband was out of town. She was single momming it for that week. And she navigated busy with divine dance mode. And so that's something that's an operating system shift we were working on. And then this one was one of my favorites. I have a woman who is stepping into some massive courage, striving for an SVP role. And she said, oh my goodness, this is the best voice memo ever. I also took screenshots because I don't think I can download and save the audio file. You brought me to tears in a good way. And it was just so beautiful. She said, thank you for the amazing 3-part focus in 3 minutes. It's like 3 minutes of the hardest hitting, most encouraging phone call I've ever received. Imagine if your words were that for somebody. I want you going out there with great intention as we welcome the heavenly light during this portal opening. I want you sharing that love and light generously with others. Practicing mindfulness. What I'm noticing I'm doing, I'll type a message. It'll be kind of fast, and I tend to be very direct. And then I polish it up with love and light. It's like I'm putting a really pretty bow on it, and I got to make some revisions, because it's not our natural tendency to speak with high vibrational energies. Yet that is what attracts the desires of our heart directly to us. I think that's about all I'll share. Yeah, this one, oof. This one's a little personal. So I want to share this because this is a ritual that I know is one of my core rituals that makes me achieve at these ultra high levels. When you're striving to get out of the norm, life is anything but normal and it's uncomfortable. And when it's that uncomfortable, the bigger the goal, the bigger the doubt. Whew, that's powerful. I got to write that down real quick in my own journal. When you have big goals, I'm talking the big ambitious kind that most people aren't talking about, your doubt follows and it is giant. And so when I received this message, it warmed my heart. This woman said to me, in case I haven't told you recently, I am so freaking proud of you. You have taken some huge leaps of faith this last year, putting your health and Gigi first, walking away from a lucrative career to build one that will end up helping so many. You have worked incredibly hard to both build the new career as well as open your heart and mind to improving yourself in ways you may not even know you needed to change. I love you, sweetie. So proud. You are an inspiration. I keep a folder called Heartwarming, and I have all my clients do the same thing. And when you start pouring all this kinds of love and light into the world, you'll notice the law of reciprocity happens, and you start to get these kinds of messages, these kinds of divine thank yous. And people see your beauty, and they're drawn to it. You don't have to sell. You don't have to push. It doesn't have to be as hard. It's an amazing, magical place of miracles. Please join me. Hop on my sailboat. Let's go. And I save these in a folder that I call Heartwarming. And what's really important about that is when that voice of doubt creeps in, I turn to my destination declaration, which I have all of my clients do, and I open up that Heartwarming file. And almost instantly, I'm right back on course. So I want to share that with you in the Women's Business Launcher. I have created a program. We're going live July 15th. It's called Doubt to Daring. You're going to go from that voice of doubt that says, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not sure about XYZ. And if you're experiencing some doubt, you know what that means, my friends? That means you are divinely doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. You're following the desires of your heart. That's how I know that you're going to make it. Because that little voice of doubt is how I know you're on course. It's what I listen for. If my clients don't have doubt, I know they're playing small. So remember, the bigger the goal, the bigger the doubt. And we can use this summer energy to bring in the love and light, to literally lay on the ground, preferably outside. I love to lay on the sand. But wherever you can, get grounded on the frequencies and resonance of the earth. Or I also like to lay in Shavasana in my bed too. That works just fine. Listen to 432 hertz or 963 hertz. Let those sounds reverberate and you'll notice literally the vibration of your body. The other day, I literally felt like I was floating in my bed. I've gotten so good at this, I can now raise my vibration where I almost feel like I'm coming out of my body. It's beautiful. And I want you to sit in that space of the divine. And as you do that, I want you to be opening to receive. As women, we often are giving and giving and giving. We're darn skilled at finding all the problems that exist in our environment and going and solving every single one of them. Those problems really might not have been meant for you to solve. Let somebody else do the learning. Let them take that bull by the horns and go and address those challenges. And I want you sitting in stillness and peace over this next couple days. This is the weekend to nourish yourself. For me, I'm actually going on a little out-of-state adventure. Woo! It's going to be so much fun, and all I'm doing, nourishing myself. I'm not bringing my laptop. I'm not bringing any work. I will bring up I'm reading this book about praying dangerously, so I'll bring my prayer book and probably bring my journal because I do like to write and journal ideas. But I'm just going to go have wonderful ideas and have an amazing time and connect deeply with people. I'm going to shine my love and light every single place I go. I'm going to take all of this happiness, all of this joy, all of this energy, and I'm just going to go sprinkle it around like glitter all weekend long. Who's with me? Can I get an amen? All right. I feel really called to close us in prayer for this training, so we're going to do that. Dear Heavenly Father, angels, guardians of the galaxies, protectors, higher councils, we thank you so much for being the leaders in our life, for guiding us, for loving us, for helping us shed away the negative narratives that no longer serve us. May doubt never have a voice in this space we call our bodies and minds again. Our souls didn't come here to this earth to doubt or to be discouraged or to be distracted. Our souls came here to learn and to love. And that as we learn to love, the energetic vibration of love energizes every other corner of our lives. And it starts with loving ourselves. That when we can walk past that mirror in the aftermath of breast cancer surgery, when we can walk past that mirror when we're feeling a little fluffy and fat and fatigued and foggy, when we can walk past that mirror and see ourselves after we've yelled at our kid or the people we've loved the most, or when we've behaved in a way that isn't congruent with the best of ourselves, when we can extend love to that version of ourselves, we can really make a difference in the world, because that love in our cup is what spills out each and every place we go. And so, God, we just ask that in this moment, you help us see through your eyes, and that you help us see that we are love. We came here to only love others and receive the greatness of their love in return. Let us sparkle like glitter and go out and shine love and light into this beautiful world as we welcome summer and these wonderful long days. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen, my friends. Thank you to my friends. Kelly, it's great to see you. Hi. And my friends in training. Thank you so much for sharing space with me. I know that leaders are learners, and those who want to reach ultra high levels of success are investing in themselves and in their learning. Please share the love and the joy with another woman. We need to lift each other up. We need to remind each other that we are worthy, we are enough, and we're going to make it. And when we do that, those little calls on your heart, that when you send that message, it's always divine. It's always. I had one that popped up just this morning, and I sent it was a quick one because I was hosting our first sleepover and juggling a little more this morning than typically. And it was so beautiful. She wrote back, "Oh my gosh, this was exactly what I needed to hear. I'm sitting there doubting myself, wondering if this CEO is going to call me back and offer me the position. And you just directed me right back to who I am." So let's be the kind of woman that directs another woman onto her path. Share this with someone who's on your heart. Pay attention to who's on your heart right now. That person needs you. That's God guiding you in their direction. I love you, friends. Have a fantabulous Finish Strong Friday. Make sure you're celebrating your weekly wins today, and make sure that you're using that energy of the win to strategically plan the week ahead. I love you all so very much and can't wait to see you next week. Mwah. Oops. And